Coming up, what today's Russian papers are saying about the Iran war, the mobile internet blackout in Moscow, and those Soviet-era 5-year plans. Is it time to bring them back? First to the Middle East. And while the Russian press continues to write of the benefits to Russia from what is happening there in terms of additional revenue from Russian energy exports, there is a distinct wariness of America. A political scientist tells Arguments and Facts. What is happening with Iran has shown that we cannot rely on any diplomatic agreements with the US to solve our problems. When I read Russian commentary such as the US started the war on Iran without UN Security Council authorization and without bothering about international law, I do wonder whether the authors see the irony here in terms of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, after which the UN General Assembly overwhelmingly passed a resolution accusing Russia of violating the UN Charter. It's the same with this in Komsomolskaya Pravda. Instead of a triumphant blitzkrieg, looming on the horizon is a long, punishing and very expensive war. The paper is writing about America and its war on Iran, but you could apply that to Russia and its war on Ukraine. There is some mocking of Donald Trump. This is Arguments and Facts again, on President Trump declaring war on Asian carp, but no public criticism of the US president by the Kremlin. Now on to the mobile internet blackout in Moscow, which has lasted several days, the authorities citing security reasons. Izvestia reports that mobile internet in Moscow has started to return. Restrictions have been eased. The next line is important to understand that this easing is relative. In some parts of the city, access to services on the white list have been restored. Now, the white list is a list of government-approved apps and sites which are authorized to operate even during a mobile internet blackout. Nezavisima Gazeta suggests that the white list should be widened considerably. The objective need to ensure security has come into conflict with the digitalization of the economy. Against the backdrop of restrictions on mobile internet, the slowing down of social networks and interruptions to the operation of conventional services, calls made by officials to boost the digital maturity of Russia's regions look like a bitter irony. Because of the internet blackout, sales of walkie-talkies, ordinary phones and old pagers have reportedly shot up in Moscow. But Nedelia points out that if you buy a pager, all you'll get is a souvenir from the 1990s that doesn't work. All licenses for paging systems were cancelled at the end of 2023. The Soviet Union was cancelled, or rather dissolved, in 1991. But Kommersant reports that when asked, do you regret now the fall of the Soviet Union, 57% of Russians surveyed recently said yes. One of the features of life in the USSR and the Soviet economy was the 5-year plan. According to Komsomolskaya Pravda, 80 years ago today, the first post-war 5-year plan started. Is it time to bring the 5-year plans back in modern Russia? One economist says yes. The liberal position that the market will decide everything hasn't worked. We've concluded that in large industries, the market destroys the economy. But a Russian MP says, yes, the economy is under constant pressure, but I struggle to see how state planning of the economy will help. And we stay in the Soviet period, and this opinion piece in Moskovsky Komsomolets, which criticizes the leadership of Hungary in 1956 for the Hungarian Uprising, for trying to break with the Warsaw Pact and with Moscow. The point about the events of 1956 and of 1968, the Prague Spring, and 1980-81, Poland, is that you need to acknowledge the rules of the game and not cross red lines. And the red lines were these countries' socialist choice, and that there should be no threat to the geopolitical interests of the USSR.